But
As
John,
scared as you are.
yeah, but you were scared.
Yes, ma'am, I was scared.
The Blues Brothers, 20 Weird Facts They Tried to Hide. When The Blues Brothers hit theaters in 1980, it wasn't just another comedy. It was a wild mix of music, mayhem, and movie magic that became an instant cult classic. But behind the laughs, car crashes, and legendary musical numbers, there were countless secrets the filmmakers never expected to leak out. From John Belushi's unpredictable antics to outrageous stunts that nearly shut the production down, this movie's history is just as wild as the film itself. Today, we're diving into 20 weird facts they tried to keep hidden about the Blues Brothers. Buckle up. This ride's going to get crazy. John Belushi was already a rock star comedian by the time The Blues Brothers was filming, but his unpredictable lifestyle constantly kept the crew on edge. During the shoot, Belushi had a notorious habit of simply vanishing from set for hours, or even days, without warning. The most infamous story comes from director John Landis, who recalled how Belushi disappeared one night during filming in a Chicago neighborhood. The crew searched frantically, only to find him hours later at a stranger's house. Apparently, Belushi had walked in, raided their fridge, and crashed on their couch. Instead of being angry, the homeowners were thrilled to host a comedy icon. Landis later joked that Belushi was America's guest, able to walk into any home and be welcomed. But in reality, his absences created major production headaches, forcing the team to constantly adjust filming schedules around his unpredictable behavior. Filming The Blues Brothers in the streets of Chicago wasn't just chaotic, it was a logistical nightmare. The movie featured some of the wildest car chases and destruction ever captured on film, prompting local authorities to station an unusually large police presence. But this wasn't simply for crowd control or public safety. It was also a secret insurance requirement. The city and studio agreed that every major street stunt needed officers on standby to prevent lawsuits or injuries. Yet even with law enforcement present, chaos ensued. Crew members often had to dodge traffic, and pedestrians who wandered into filming zones were hustled out by police. Ironically, the presence of officers also created iconic, unplanned moments. Extras sometimes interacted with real police on set, adding authenticity to chase sequences. Behind the scenes, the police oversight was a blend of safety, insurance, and creative luck, helping capture some of the film's most legendary, large-scale destruction. The Blues Brothers is legendary for its over-the-top car chases and destruction, but few realize just how many vehicles were sacrificed for the film. Over 100 cars were smashed, crushed, or set on fire during the iconic Chicago sequences, a staggering figure that shocked even seasoned stunt coordinators. The destruction wasn't purely for spectacle. Each crash was meticulously choreographed to capture chaos while keeping actors safe. Yet accidents still happened, including cars flipping too early or colliding unexpectedly, forcing crews to rebuild sections of the set mid-shoot. Local garages reportedly rented dozens of old, expendable vehicles specifically for the production, many of which were beyond repair afterward. The massive car carnage became a defining feature of the movie, inspiring awe and disbelief among audiences. Behind the scenes, it highlighted the daring stunt teams, careful planning, and sheer audacity required to pull off one of cinema's most destructive comedies. James Brown's legendary performance in The Blues Brothers almost didn't make it into the film. Initially, Brown's management was hesitant, concerned that the chaotic production and unpredictable schedule would interfere with his tour commitments. Negotiations dragged on, and for weeks, there was no guarantee that the Godfather of Soul would appear. When Brown finally agreed, filming his nightclub scene became a high-stakes operation. The production had to adjust around his strict timing, and any delays could have canceled the performance entirely. Crew members worked overtime to perfect lighting, camera angles, and choreography, knowing Brown's charisma demanded perfection. Brown's electrifying energy transformed the scene into one of the film's most iconic moments. His infectious rhythm and commanding stage presence elevated the movie beyond comedy, giving it authentic musical gravitas. Behind the scenes, the near cancellation added tension, proving how close this unforgettable moment came to being lost forever. From the outset, Universal Pictures had serious concerns about the Blues Brothers' skyrocketing budget. The film's ambitious stunts, large-scale car crashes, and big-name musical performances made costs spiral far beyond initial projections. Behind closed doors, executives feared the movie might become a financial disaster. John Landis constantly pushed for more extravagant set pieces, insisting that the chaotic energy and real-world locations were essential to the film's authenticity. Each demolition, chase, and stunt sequence added tens of thousands of dollars, while delays caused by John Belushi's absences and weather further inflated expenses. The studio's anxiety was palpable, with accountants tracking every dollar and suggesting cuts to save money. Yet Landis and the cast refused to compromise on the film's ambitious vision. Their gamble paid off. The daring sequences, musical numbers, and unrestrained chaos became the foundation of the movie's enduring appeal, turning a potential budgetary nightmare into a cult classic triumph. Carrie Fisher's unforgettable role as the vengeful ex-girlfriend in The Blues Brothers drew from real-life experiences that added authenticity and edge to her performance. Fisher reportedly based her fiery temperament and aggressive antics on confrontations she had witnessed in Hollywood circles, blending dark humor with relatable human frustration. Her scenes, particularly those involving exaggerated chase sequences and confrontations with the Blues Brothers, required precise timing and physicality. Despite the comedic nature, Fisher performed stunts that bordered on dangerous, including narrowly avoiding cars and leaping through props. The production team was on high alert during these moments to prevent injuries. Behind the scenes, Fisher's sharp wit and improvisational skills elevated her performance, turning potentially minor sequences into memorable, laugh-out-loud moments. Her ability to channel real-world emotion into comic chaos added depth to a film otherwise dominated by destruction and slapstick, making her one of the movie's most compelling supporting characters. Ray Charles's legendary cameo in The Blues Brothers is iconic, but behind the scenes, it nearly became chaotic. During filming at the club scene, Charles became so engrossed in his performance that he refused to stop playing, even as the crew tried to cut the take. Cameras kept rolling, stunts were paused, and lighting crews scrambled to keep up. His insistence wasn't disrespectful. It was pure passion. Charles immersed himself in the music, hitting every note with precision and flair, elevating the scene beyond its scripted boundaries. Crew members and co-stars, though stressed, couldn't help but be swept up in his energy. Eventually, after multiple takes, Charles wrapped the performance, leaving the scene perfect in its raw, electrifying glory. His dedication and refusal to compromise turned a potential production headache into one of the film's most memorable and enduring musical moments. Aretha Franklin's role as the wise and commanding nun Sister Mary Stigmata, nearly never happened. Franklin, used to controlling her performances, was hesitant about the chaotic production and John Landis's improvisational style. She worried that the comedic tone and physical comedy would clash with her dignified image and musical reputation. During rehearsals, Franklin clashed with the director over staging and camera angles. At one point, she reportedly threatened to leave the set entirely, prompting a tense meeting between Landis, the producers, and her management. They reassured her that her performance would remain true to her style while blending seamlessly with the film's chaos. Ultimately, Franklin agreed, bringing her powerful voice and commanding presence to the role. Her performance elevated the film, proving her influence could shine even amidst slapstick chaos. Behind the scenes, her near departure became a legendary story of negotiation, talent, and perseverance. John Landis was known for his daring directing style, but on The Blues Brothers, his approach sometimes pushed the boundaries of safety. Massive car chases, building demolitions, and high-speed stunts were filmed in real locations with minimal protective barriers, leaving crew members and stunt performers on edge. One infamous example involved a car jumping over a bridge ramp. The stunt was executed perfectly on the first take, but had a slight miscalculation occurred, serious injuries could have resulted. Similarly, when filming the mall chase, vehicles barreled through store windows, occasionally endangering extras. Landis often prioritized spectacle over caution, trusting his team's skills to avoid disaster. While no major accidents occurred, the tension on set was palpable. Many crew members recall holding their breath during sequences. Landis's risk-taking approach contributed to the film's thrilling energy, but left a lingering sense that chaos could erupt at any moment. The Blues Brothers is packed with subtle, hidden cameos that most audiences never noticed. Behind the chaos of car crashes, musical numbers, and comedic antics, familiar faces from Hollywood and Chicago snuck onto the screen, often uncredited. One example includes producer and actor cameos during the wedding and bar scenes, where quick flashes reveal them interacting with extras or reacting to stunts. Local musicians and friends of John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd also slipped in, adding authenticity to the film's blues and soul atmosphere. Even Tim Kazurinsky, a writer and actor, appears briefly in a hallway scene without acknowledgement in the credits. These secret appearances created a layered experience for attentive viewers, rewarding repeat screenings. They also added inside jokes for the cast, crew, and friends involved in production. The hidden cameos remain a charming mystery, enhancing the film's playful, chaotic energy while connecting it to real-world musical and Hollywood legends. John Belushi's unpredictable behavior on the set of The Blues Brothers earned him a legendary nickname, America's Guest. Crew members and locals often referred to him this way because of his tendency to wander into houses, diners, and public spaces, blending his real-life antics with his on-screen persona. One infamous incident involved Belushi disappearing from set and showing up at a stranger's home, raiding the fridge, and chatting casually before returning to filming as if nothing had happened. While this behavior frustrated producers and directors, it became part of his mystique. The nickname reflected the way Belushi's presence was both disruptive and magnetic. He could command attention in any setting, leaving behind stories that blurred the line between his personal life and cinematic legend. America's Guest encapsulated the chaotic charm that made him an unforgettable star, ensuring his legacy both on and off the screen. Cab Calloway, playing the mysterious father of the Blues Brothers, brought his signature flair to the film. but his costume held a hidden secret that most viewers missed. While appearing as a stylish, imposing figure, Calloway's wardrobe was subtly modified to reference his real-life stage persona, including a small emblem stitched inside his coat and custom-designed cufflinks that paid homage to his jazz legacy. The costume department went to great lengths to balance authenticity with cinematic practicality. Calloway's outfit allowed him to move fluidly during musical numbers while maintaining an air of elegance. Crew members recall noticing tiny details, embroidered patterns, color choices, and pocket accessories that were invisible on camera but deeply meaningful to Calloway and the costume designers. This attention to detail reinforced his character's authority and charm. Though invisible to the casual viewer, the hidden costume elements exemplify the meticulous care taken in blending tribute, style, and function on the chaotic set of the Blues Brothers. Keeping the iconic Blues Brothers band cohesive behind the camera was no small feat. Composed of legendary musicians like Steve Cropper, Donald "Duck" Dunn, and Murphy Dunn, the group needed coordination to deliver seamless musical performances amidst a chaotic production. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd took it upon themselves to ensure morale remained high. They scheduled regular rehearsals, resolved creative disagreements, and fostered camaraderie, knowing that the band's energy on screen would translate directly into audience impact. Musicians often had to juggle multiple takes while watching massive stunts unfold around them, requiring patience and focus. The effort paid off spectacularly. Each musical number feels electric, with performers feeding off each other's energy while interacting with actors and extras. Behind the scenes, maintaining harmony among these world-class musicians was a delicate balancing act, crucial to preserving the authenticity and soul of the Blues Brothers' legendary performances. The mall car chase in The Blues Brothers is one of the most famous sequences in cinematic history, featuring a record-breaking pileup of vehicles. Behind the scenes, orchestrating this chaos was a logistical nightmare. Over 60 cars were demolished in a single day of shooting, including dozens of rental vehicles and vintage cars brought in for the sequence. Stunt coordinators had to time every collision perfectly, ensuring the actors' safety while maximizing on-screen destruction. Extras and crew were strategically positioned to react to each crash without risking injury. Many sequences required multiple takes because cars either didn't collide correctly or props were destroyed prematurely. The sheer audacity of the pileup shocked even the city of Chicago, leaving debris scattered and spectators amazed. While the studio initially worried about insurance claims, the result became an iconic cinematic moment, cementing the Blues Brothers as a cult classic for its reckless, jaw-dropping energy. Dan Aykroyd's original script for the Blues Brothers was nothing short of legendary. 324 pages long, overflowing with detailed stage directions, dialogue, musical notes, and backstories for virtually every character. The length far exceeded a standard shooting script, reflecting Aykroyd's obsessive attention to detail and deep knowledge of blues culture. Many scenes in the draft were eventually cut, condensed, or improvised during filming, but the exhaustive script served as a blueprint for the film's musical and comedic beats. Cast and crew often joked about the daunting size of the document, but it kept production grounded despite the chaos of stunts, car crashes, and unpredictable behavior on set. Aykroyd's vision ensured every joke, riff, and song had a purpose, shaping the movie into the cult classic we know today. One of the most memorable sequences in The Blues Brothers was filmed inside a real prison, adding authenticity but also creating unique challenges. The cast and crew had to navigate tight security protocols, working around guards and real inmates who occasionally watched the shoot unfold. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd embraced the setting, improvising with props and interacting naturally with the environment. However, filming in a functioning prison required careful scheduling and constant supervision to prevent incidents. Certain stunts were scaled back or altered to comply with the facility's rules, and crew members had to remain vigilant at all times. Despite these obstacles, the prison scenes captured an energy and realism that would have been impossible on a set. The combination of real locations, improvisation, and controlled chaos added another layer of excitement to the film. Steven Spielberg's brief cameo in The Blues Brothers as a man in a car is one of the film's fun, hidden gems. But it almost didn't happen. Scheduling conflicts threatened to keep him off set entirely, as he was deep into other projects at the time. Landis personally appealed to Spielberg, convincing him that the film needed a Hollywood insider to add a touch of meta-humor. Even then, Spielberg's appearance was rushed, filmed in a single take with minimal setup. Crew members recall his professionalism, delivering the line and movement precisely despite time pressure. The cameo went largely unnoticed by casual viewers, but delighted fans who recognized the legendary director. It's a perfect example of the film's hidden layers, where surprise appearances added texture and insider charm to the chaotic comedy. The Blues Brothers faced an unexpected hurdle with the MPAA, which initially threatened a harsher rating due to car crashes, chaotic violence, and some adult humor. Universal Pictures and John Landis had to negotiate extensively to secure an R rating that allowed the film to reach its intended audience without excessive edits. The studio argued that the over-the-top action was comedic, not realistic, and that the music and satire balanced any potentially objectionable content. Landis even submitted alternate takes and toned down sequences as bargaining chips, though he preferred to keep the original chaotic vision intact. Ultimately, the MPAA relented, preserving the film's energy and absurdity. The negotiation highlights the tension between creative ambition and censorship, a behind-the-scenes battle that shaped the final movie's tone and accessibility. Filming The Blues Brothers on the streets of Chicago wasn't always smooth. While many residents were thrilled, some locals secretly sabotaged shoots out of frustration over road closures, noise, and chaos. Minor interference included moving traffic cones, redirecting extras, or subtly repositioning props, forcing crew members to improvise on the spot. These acts occasionally disrupted carefully choreographed stunts and timing, creating unplanned but sometimes hilarious outcomes. John Landis and the production team had to adapt quickly, reshooting scenes or adjusting camera angles to account for unexpected changes. Ironically, these small acts of sabotage contributed to the film's spontaneous energy, adding layers of unpredictability. The combination of planned chaos and unplanned interference helped capture a lively, authentic urban backdrop that perfectly matched the film's anarchic spirit. Shall I continue with Chapter 20, the cast reunion secret that took decades to surface? Decades after The Blues Brothers premiered, a hidden story about the cast's reunion finally emerged. Behind the scenes, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Calloway, and the band often held secret jam sessions between takes, improvising music that never appeared in the final cut. These private performances helped them bond and maintain musical authenticity amidst chaotic filming schedules. Crew members remembered Belushi and Aykroyd sneaking into empty rooms or hallways to practice riffs or rehearse dialogue away from cameras. These sessions kept morale high and strengthened chemistry that became evident on screen. The revelation of these secret reunions decades later highlights the dedication and camaraderie that went into creating a legendary movie. It's a reminder that the magic of the Blues Brothers extended far beyond what audiences saw. The Blues Brothers remains a legendary blend of music, mayhem, and cinematic chaos. Behind-the-scenes secrets, from hidden cameos to cast jam sessions and daring stunts, reveal a production as wild as the film itself. Decades later, its legacy endures, reminding fans of the genius, chaos, and heart behind the cult classic.